Always a party at Patchworks. Let's get this party started. Woot, woot. Hi, everyone. This is Julie from Patchworks, and I am so excited that you're joining us for another Must Sew TV. This is our first Moda University session of 2022, and we have so many exciting things planned for you today. So today, I'm flying solo, so make sure to put things in the comments, like, type comment, share, and I'm going to do my best to keep up with comments. If there's something that I missed, I will follow up after our program, and if there's something horribly wrong, just type it again and again and again so that I can make sure that it comes to my attention so that I can see it and correct it. So for those of you that are joining us for the first time, I'm Julie from Patchworks in Elm Grove, Wisconsin, and every Thursday night we have a program at 7 p.m. called Must Sew TV. We rotate our content between the different things that we're doing here at the shop, and the third Thursday of the month we dedicate to our Patchworks exclusive club called Moda University. Now, this program is free for all of you to watch all year long, and we save it to our Facebook channel as well as to our YouTube channel. And what we do here is that we feature the latest and greatest Moda fabrics that have come into the store and show you some amazing things to do with it. For club members, and we'll talk about how to become a club member later, you will receive one of the amazing packs that we have, and those are 12 different fabrics, and we're offering them in fat eighth and fat quarter bundles. Of course, if you need to have more, like half yards, whole yards, or even whole bolts, I'd be more than happy to hook you up with things, all right? So why don't we get started and take a peek at what the beautiful fabrics are that we have to share with you today. You can see from the beautiful quilt behind me that one of the fabric lines that we're featuring today is Stay Gold by Melody Miller for Ruby Star Society, and that one is so, so gorgeous. And let's take a peek at the fabric packs we have available today. So many great options. We have 6 great options today. So we said we have, oops, we need to make sure that you can see here. All right, let's look overhead. So we have fat quarter and fat eighth bundles. Okay, so what is a fat eighth in case if you've never seen a fat eighth? So a fat eighth is a 9 by half width of fabric. So I say 20 usable inches, okay? So this is a fat eighth. And what is a fat quarter? Just for reference, a fat quarter would be twice as much, right? So it'd be 18 by 20. Now sometimes the patterns say 22, but I always like to say 20 usable inches, okay? So this is a fat quarter here, and this is a fat eighth. So you can see it's half as big. Okay, so you get twice the fun with a fat quarter pack, but you can still do some pretty amazing things. So Stay Gold, we'll look at this one first. This is the fabric line that we featured in the quilt behind me, and let's make sure that you can see what I'm showing you. Dun, dun, dun. So we have pinks, and look, I kind of match this. It's pink into this gorgeous orange. There's a little bit of gold metallic in here and like a rosy gold metallic as well. Metallic's super in. Oh, I see that Tammy hopped on here. Thank you so much, Tammy, for hopping in. She is going to be sharing from afar some of our collections. So we have this one right here. Next up we have Carolina Lilies. Oh, Addie, you know you're going to have to join. Absolutely. So this is Carolina Lilies. And this is another gorgeous Robin Pickens with her painterly style. And she has a return of this gorgeous color here. We'll look at the full collection later, and we'll be able to look at what these beautiful prints are. Now, for you traditional fabric lovers, I know you are going to be super excited. We have a blue and yellow floral collection. Summer Breeze is making another appearance. Yay, Summer Breeze. Summer Breeze makes me feel fine. So when my Moda rep comes, we sing that when I buy this fabric. But look, isn't this just delicious? We have another gorgeous floral, and this is a blue and white with a little bit of tan. And this is Crystal Lane by Bunny Hill Design. And so there's a little bit of snowman here. Oh, isn't this cute? So we have a nod to the snowman, and we have some dots. Gorgeous blues here. Nice little stripe. Little ditzy print. And as I was looking at this fabric line, I thought, you know, this would coordinate super, super well with some classic Minnick and Simpson lines. Look at this floral. We'll look at the whole line a little bit later, but look at that. And that cocoa and navy is just yummy. And speaking of cocoa, well, I could use some hot chocolate and some marshmallows. I don't know about you. Let's rotate these. Let's see if I can do this without messing them all up. Ooh, fancy. All right. Da, 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 da. Okay. Here we go. Let's look at some more fabric. What do you think? All right, so I have two more amazing fabric selections for you. So the next one is Effie's Woods by Deb Strain. Super cute. Little woodland creatures here. Super cute. This just came in. Talk about that one a little later, and we have some great coordinates. You know, this really is gender neutral. There are some pieces that can go more pink or more blue if you prefer, but I really love that there's some really great textures, and you have that nice buttery yellow here, and these words, you are loved, you are cherished. You're just surrounding the little wee ones with those positive words are just so important. I like all these wood grain textures. They're just great. And I know I overuse the word yummy when it comes to fabric, but oh my goodness, they are yummy. All right. Now, we have a color builder, stash builder for you today. And in the past, we have done maybe some all grunges, and I know some of you have been with us for a long time. And since we've expanded from 8 to 12, I thought, you know, it'd be really fun. Let's go with just a Moda blender. So we curated our own collection. Curated, yes, that's a fancy word for Julie picked the fabrics. And this is a gray bundle. And I chose gray because I'm trying to follow along in the color theme of what we're going to be featuring in our Aurifil Club, which is our 4th week of the month. So we have a marble, we have a thatched, we have a grunge, we have a Bella Solid, a little bit more grunge. We have some beautiful Janet Claire here. This is a botanical. I think this is an April Rosenthal. Another grunge, another botanical. Oh, I love words. Some more thatched. We have some spotted from Zen Chic, and then finishing off with some Bella. So, you know, incorporating a little bit of that solid here, we want to make sure that we're not that we aren't afraid to use the Bellas. So I am scooting this over here. And I will hop, I can see on the comments here we have some questions about other content of different things. So today we are going to be talking about our Moda University Club. And at the end of the presentation, I will talk about our schedule of all the other amazing things that we have planned to share with you. Sound good? Okay. So we have here as a recap, we have the Stay Gold, we have Carolina Lilies, we have Summer Breeze, we have Crystal Lane, we have Effie's Woods, and we have a Moda Stash Builder. And you have them available either in the fat eighth quantity or the fat quarter. Now the fat quarter is a fat stack, and the fat stack works as a great quilt starter or mini quilt kit. Sometimes you have to add borders and bindings to it, and sometimes you get everything that you need. One of the things that I wanted to share with you this year is having a project where we have a quilt that we then can show you. So this you can make with your fat quarter bundle as a starter, and then we are going to show you how to switch it up and make a table runner out of it or wall hanging, and then also showing you, if you just want to play with a single block, how you could go ahead and make that as a pillow or project pack. Okay, so I'm just going to scoop up this fabric, and then we are going to peek and take a look at the quilt. So I'm going to put up a picture of what that full quilt looks like so that you can see it. And this is the project sheet size, which has more blocks in it. And then we chose to make with our fat stack here, we chose to make 12 blocks. So let me just scoot this aside here. Pay no attention to the woman behind the quilt. Oh my goodness, I'm so punny. You just cannot leave me to my own devices now, can you? Who knows what I come up with? Okay, so let's make this go away. Okay, so for the project here, what we did is that we took 12 fat quarters, and then we also used from the fabric collection the beautiful panel that comes with the collection. I'll show you how to make this quilt without a panel center, but this is based on the Stay Gold panel quilt, which is a free and downloadable pattern, and then we'll be showing you how to switch it up. And I even have a link for you, oh my goodness, for what that pattern is. So we're just going to copy that and paste it right in here so that for those of you that are following along at home, you can download this pattern. So every month we won't necessarily be referencing a free and downloadable pattern, but I just wanted to share with you the one that we're using today. Okay, so this is the Stay Gold, and the panel is super awesome. It is a giant panel that's a 2-yard repeat. So I'm going to show you the picture of what that panel is in full because I wouldn't be able to share it with you actually in full. Okay, so I'm going to leave that up there, and what I'm going to do is I am going to show you the size of these panels and what Melody did here. Okay, so you can see how nice and big these are, right? And what she's done is she has included imagery from all of her different fabric collections that she's done over the years. And so it's super exciting, super beautiful. And at the bottom of each of them, she's also included information. So like on the little Kicks sneakers, she says, I have a thing for vintage sneakers from my Kicks collection in 2017. And then the jacks. So these remind me of the starburst shapes I love so much from my Playful collection in 2014. So if you love Melody Miller, you'll love this panel. We have it cut up into 2-yard chunks. We also have left a couple bolts in continuous yardage. We will only sell it in the 2-yard unit, but let's say you're looking to have this be a quilt back and you wanted to have 4 yards of it. I'd be more than happy to sell you 4 yards as a complete chunk. All right, so you have that available here. So this particular quilt block is a simple star. It is constructed with half square triangles, cornerstones, and then a panel square fussy cut in the center. For our table runner that we made, we decided to include the panel as well, half square triangles. But what we did is that we changed it up and we put the corners as a little 4-patch, okay? Because we were trying to figure out how you might be able to do this if you were working it with your fat 1/8 pack, okay? So this you would be able to make with a fat 1/8 pack. A little bit of background. We did add in the panel squares. However, you could switch it up and just either have whole squares or put a larger 4-patch or different block in the center. And then for those of you that just wanted to taste the block, look at this. Isn't this cute? So we made, this is actually one of my most favorite images that Melody creates. I love the vintage typewriter. And I love that it's typing a love letter, which is just perfect for this time for our Valentines. And we made it into a single block. So I have a little bit of information about the block that we'll show you overhead. Let's take a peek. All right, so I have here some of the fabrics. Now, when you are working with this, this is a 16-inch block, which turns into which is a 4-inch grid, right? And so what we did here is that we have our squares. So this is a 4.5-inch square, and this would get cut down into a 4.5. Da, da, da. You can see how this goes together. So these I didn't cut apart, just to show you how we got them. And you can see here how that works, okay? So what you would do is the method of making this particular block is you make the half square triangles that you then would sew together into that faux flying goose unit, okay? And if you're using a directional fabric like this, you can choose to use it directional, or you could have it cattywampus be just whichever way you wanted it to be, okay? And the cool thing about this as well is that the way that I organized this. So I used different colors than what this fabric was. So in the original pattern here, Melody chose to use the same fabric for the corners as she did for the background of the flying geese. But let's say you mixed it up like this, you can decide whether or not you want it to look like this or like that. So you just had to, can choose whichever way you would like to do. All right, so when you are making your half square triangles to make this, I just want to give you a couple pro tips. I know that a lot of you have been quilting for a long time, but some of you have been just joining us. So I wanted to make sure that we can give you some excellent ideas along the way for making this. So these happen to be made doing the square up method. And a lot of the things that I show you from our Moda University would be the square up method. And that's where you make this block a little bit oversized. So if you need it to be a 4-inch finished, you start with your squares cut at 5 inches. When you're cutting your fabrics into pairs to make your half square triangles, I highly recommend that you position your fabrics right sides together for what you want to be pairing if you're going to be making them in such a way that you know what your pairs are going to be, because as you cut your strips and cut your squares, you are a step ahead of the game so that you can touch the fabric a little bit less. So the size of this particular block, we're going to start with a 5-inch here. This whole block finishes to be a 16-inch block. And we're working at the 4-inch grid. Okay, so we'd subcut. And when I make my pairs of squares, I don't have a separate pair here ready to go that hasn't been touched. But what we do, let's pretend this is our set, okay? What I like to do is I do draw my line, and I love to use my quick quarter ruler. And what is a quick quarter ruler? A quick quarter ruler is this crazy little piece of molded plastic that I position from point to point. And I like to draw my lines on my stitch lines, which would be the outside of this ruler. And then I chain stitch my units together. So what does that mean? That means that I take all of my set pairs of squares and I sew them, all of them together, and then I'd cut them apart, press them to yield 2 half square triangles. And then what we do is we can trim them up using our favorite method of trimming them. What I want to share with you is that I always still want to make sure that you're cutting away from yourself. And I would caution you to avoid doing any sort of L movements or coming back towards yourself. Little safety tip, just always cut away from yourself, perpendicular from your body. So while we're talking about putting together that perfect block, I want to make sure that we have the proper tools, and it is that beginning part of the year. So I use my 50 weight thread. My needle is a Schmetz 80-20, I'm sorry, 70-10. 80-20 is if you're going to be working a little bit bigger. So I like my 70-10. You want to make sure that you have a nice fresh blade in your rotary cutter. When I cut most of my things, I use the 45mm in either the ergonomic or the straight handle. My favorite is the ergonomic, but I like to have several, and you know, if you have several, sometimes you have one super great one and then just other ones that are great tools. Blades, make sure to change out those blades. There is the endurance blade, which cuts twice as long. It is a little bit more expensive. I personally tend to have a ton of the 5-packs hanging around. Sometimes I happen to go a little quickly and run over things, and so I would hate to nick my endurance blade, but The endurance blades are great, and the people who use them love them and keep coming back for more. Heaven forbid you need to unstitch anything. My favorite seam ripper is the Clover seam ripper here, the 482, and we do have these in stock. I know in the last couple years these have been out of stock from time to time, and so we do have a bunch in stock. It is $4.50 right now, and you know, believe it or not, these wear out just like pins do or your needles do. So having the right tools that work properly just can make things very easy on you and make your job a lot nicer. For my marking utensils, I love, love, love the Soline ceramic lead pencils that come in a variety of colors. They are refillable. They are a nice mechanical lead, that nice clickable thing, and they can be removed by dabbing with a damp cloth or washing. As always, no matter what marking utensil you use, you want to make sure you use the lightest hand possible to be able to visibly see it so that you can remove it no matter what the method that you choose. I do like the ceramic lead pencil because it sits on top of the thread or of the fabric, and it doesn't penetrate into the fabric, so then it can come off. And in the package, the quick quarter ruler looks like this. It comes in the 8-inch as well as the 12-inch size. It is affordably priced at $4.20, and it is just a great tool to have around. Okay, so that is just my little back to school commercial there. Sometimes we forget about having the right crayons in our toolbox, but it's always great to have those in there. Okay, so now that we've talked about making our half square triangles to go into this, for the fat stack quilt that I have behind me, we used a 3x4 set. For the table runner, we made a 1x3, and for the pillow, we made just one. In the panel comes with 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it comes with 35 different pieces. The full-size quilt that is shown in the project sheet does have 25 blocks. So even if you made the full quilt with a larger stack of fabric, you would be able to have some extra squares left over for something else. So that is super exciting. Now let's just take a peek at what we did here for the individual little project pack. So for the project pack, we mixed it up, and then I framed out this panel square, okay? So if you either start with an image that's smaller, like you don't have an 8.5 inch square to put in the middle, or let's say something was printed wrong or you made a miscut, you can go ahead and frame it to fit it into the size that you'd like. So when I framed it out, I just did a courthouse step style where I did side side and top bottom to fit it into the 8.5 inch size. For this, I did not stuff this. This would be a pillow form with this great 16-inch size, and this would be a fit a 16-inch pillow form. I finished it off with a magic binding finish. How many of you have heard of the magic binding technique? A few of you? Okay, so the magic binding technique works super great, especially if you are working with a small piece of fabric. Like, so one of the challenges that we had here is that I made this with our fat 1/8 pack, and I needed 4 20-inch pieces of binding, right? So if I cut it at 2.5 inches, 2.5 times 4 is 10. My fat 1/8 pack is just 9 inches. So I could either choose to have a scrappy binding, or what I could do is I could do a single fold binding where you take a single piece of fabric, sew it, wrap it around, tuck it under, and hand finish. Or you could use 2 smaller pieces of fabric, piece it together, and with one larger than the other, and then you get the illusion of piping, and you can machine stitch it, and you can get away with your fat 1/8 pack. How fancy is that? So I don't know if you can tell here, but can you see there's that little bit of appearing to be piping there? So it's a machine finish, and I'll show you how to do it. So this is a little bit leftover fabric that I have, and I have it sewn together. But what you need to do, and this is something to wrap your head around, the piece of fabric that you see the least is the strip you need to cut the most of, okay? So this piece we cut at 1 3/4 inches. This piece we cut at 1.5 inches, okay? 1 3/4 inches, 1.5 inches. We're going to piece them together, 1/4 inch, Can press it open, and then you're going to press it and to prepare it like traditional binding, okay? So you're going to fold it in half and press it, and then you see this little faux flange sticking out. Everybody with me so far? All right. So then when we go to attach it, what we do is we put it on the back side, and we have to think about this. Okay, so if I'm sewing it on the back side and I'm going to wrap it over to the front, which side do I want to see? If I put this side and I wrap it over to the front, oops, nope, that doesn't work. So we are going to have that accent side be what we're stitching down, and then we roll it over. And let me push this up so we can see it here. We roll it over, and then we stitch, and you stitch in the ditch. So you stitch, let me hold this up here. We stitch in the ditch so that that hangs out. Now, with practice, in theory, it kind of is in the ditch on the back side, but you might go over the edge, and that's no big deal. Okay, so it's called magic binding. It's super easy and super fun. Club members, I will have a handout for you in your packet that is available for pickup tomorrow, and otherwise you can ask us here at the store for a little bit of a tutorial for how to make that happen. It's just super fun and super exciting. The trick is that you want to make sure when you join it that you play with it a little bit to make sure that your 2 different fabrics line up, and then you want to pay a little bit extra attention when you're doing your corners. But it's a fun little accent, and I know some of our customers actually use it on every single quilt that they do. So that is a fun tip for all of you tonight. As I had said, I had turned this one project into a project bag or a pillow, and so we backed our pieces with a fusible fleece and installed just a plain zipper here. There's no need to use fancy lining. If you had wanted to put a fancy lining, you absolutely could, but we didn't do any fancy lining in here. On the front side, I decided to play with some organic quilting. I used some 50 weight thread here and did some straight line quilting. I intentionally did not make them be perfectly straight and I really enjoyed the, I'm calling organic look of the quilting. I took a nice pale peach color here and I lengthened my stitch length. I started in the center and then I went back and forth and back and forth. When you're working on quilting something, if you haven't quilted before at home on your own machine, I highly recommend that you go back and forth if you're doing so straight line, because if you just go in one direction, you could end up with a rainbowing, I call it, your project. So we want to make sure that we, as we're pushing the fabric, we push it back and forth to get it to be as flat as possible. For our fun little cornerstones here, we decided to, on all 3 blocks, have the same fabrics be this here. And what I also think could be fun with this block is if you continued it and had the 4 patches in the center as well, and kind of be a little chain. So this is just options that you can do to change up the block, especially if you're working with smaller amounts of fabric. And here for our binding, we did a straight binding, and we used one of the gorgeous speckled basics from Ruby Star Society. And look, isn't that just beautiful how this color just is pulled out here? So it is super gorgeous. Linda is asking, can you make the binding more fabric in the flange? So I'm sure you absolutely could make this be more of a flange and less of a piping. I don't have the math. You could play with it, but your fabric would be more offset. And so essentially, the bigger you wanted this to be, the more fabric you would have. So you absolutely could do that. All of these projects will be in display, and Heidi did a fabulous job with the table runner and the quilt behind me. Angie went ahead and quilted this on the long arm, and I love the thread that she used. It's just this pale pink that is just so stunning. And so sometimes, you know, when you're thinking about quilting something like this that has such a high contrast, and oftentimes I like to see more texture and don't want to see so much thread, I'm always afraid of what is going to appear here. And so we don't always have to use an ivory. We can sometimes use that light tint of whatever color appears in this area here. And this nice pink is just gorgeous. So we'll have to get what color that is to be able to share with you. And then we just used a gorgeous Ruby Star that had been on the shelf that I thought worked well. So we have a couple more of these. This is not from the Stay Gold collection, so I wanted to make sure that we could share as much of the Stay Gold collection with all of you. Okay, so how are we doing so far? Are these projects fun that you can take one concept and make it big or small or tiny? I hope you like it. We are looking forward to, in this year, being able to feature that one concept that you can do a few different ways depending on how much you want to commit to that project. So the biggest quilt, if you made according to the project sheet, is a 92-inch square. This is, I should have it off the top of my head, I believe it's 56 by, I should know that, 70 something. And then we have this runner that runs the same width. And then it is 20 inches wide. And then the project bag or pillow, which is 16 inches square. For the Stay Gold, the pre-cuts had arrived much earlier than the yardage, so we have all the yardage in stock. We do have the manufacturer's half-yard bundle. Jelly roll, charm pack, and layer cake. If you had wanted, let us know if you'd wanted a fat quarter bundle sooner than later. The manufacturer fat quarter bundles are already gone. They were actually gone before the fabric line got here, but we'd be more than happy to cut off the bolt. We just didn't know, we didn't want to cut more since the pre-cuts had been out. It's kind of a crazy situation. So that is that gorgeous line. And we do have the panels available both individually as well as off the bolt. They are all online as well. Should we take a peek at some of the other beautiful fabrics that I teased you with earlier in the program? So we have Carolina Lilies, and this is the latest from Robin Pickens. Let's look overhead at this. Okay, so Carolina Lilies, I just love Robin's painterly style here. Isn't that pretty? It's so pretty. So there are the lilies in several different colors. And let me just move this out of the way here. I'm just making a mess. Okay, so we have the lights. And these go incredibly well with Robin's previous collections. So if you've been collecting, this is another lily with the peach background. If you've been collecting Robin for some time, this absolutely would go with. Some new colors of thatched. I am not sure if they are limited edition or if they are here to stay. So we have light, a little bit darker. Then we hop to the greens and blues. Lovely floral there, more thatched. This here with a beautiful aqua. Aqua? We'll call it aqua. And then we go to the deeper colors. And this one here we'll just have to open up as well. And this selvage here is Wildflowers Don't Care Where They Grow. And that's Dolly Parton. And is it Dolly Parton's birthday today or was that yesterday? Because I did not plan that we would showcase that. I didn't look at that, but how fun is that? So this is Carolina Lilies. We have that available in our fat quarter Tower of the Whole unit or half yard if you need the half yard. We have these online, but you can also just holler and let us know if you need them. There are 30 fabrics in this gorgeous line. And the way that we make our stacks here, if you see them in the store, is that they are intertwined. So if you're saying, Julie, there's only 15 fabrics here. Well, because there's 15 other fabrics on this side. So that's how they are. We have all of the pre-cuts as well. So we have the charm pack jelly roll and layer cake. And then we have two of Robin's patterns here. And we have her mod flower box as well as her block step. So block step shown in this really small picture. Let me see if I can zoom it in here. This is the one that Moda shared on their social media a couple weeks ago maybe. And I know, Sandy, this is the one that you had asked for. And so this is actually what it looks like. And the thing that I love about this is that you have the availability to make it in the sizing to make it in the wall lap, the twin, and the queen, okay? And it is pre-cut friendly. And she shows you her color options as well. And then the mod flower box is pre-cut friendly and is sized for either making the wall lap or the larger size. both of the pattern, or this pattern is 12 and this one is 10. For this one here that has the curves, she includes a paper template for her curves. So that is super helpful that you don't need to get a separate ruler in order to make it. You can buy rulers, but you don't have to, which is always nice. So that is Carolina Lilies, which we have been super excited about. So as you're seeing these fabric lines, we are excited to see a bunch of new fabrics come in so far already in January. And if you've been paying attention to pre-release dates as well, you know that this is a combination of items that we expected now, as well as maybe things that we expected a little bit earlier. In no particular order, we are going to go to Crystal Lane now by Bunny Hill. And this is a really cute collection. So if you take out the snowmen, which, I mean, oh my goodness, look at these snowmen, aren't they adorable? But if you take them out, you have a gorgeous traditional floral line. You can take out the brown and just have it be blue. Okay, or you can add in the cocoa. So let's take a peek at all of them here. And I love those dots. This floral is super yummy. Frank always laughs that I call fabric yummy. So how many of you call fabric yummy? And Linda, I see your question about the about that, and we can talk offline about other options, okay? But thank you so much for inquiring. Patty, I'm so happy that you call fabric yummy too, and it's not just me. Look at this. Okay, so I love that we have some pale pales and some deeper tones. So this is just super gorgeous. We have the Fat Quarter Tower, which has the 28 pieces. We have a half yard tower. We have charm packs, jelly rolls, and layer cakes. So we have all of that here. Everything's available in store as well as online. And this is one of our club options as well, where we have those 12 fat quarters or fat eighths available. Coming soon from Bunny Hill as well, we will be seeing, oops, as I'm dropping it here, we will also be getting Prairie Days, which will be coming pretty soon. So this is a red, white, and blue line, which is not necessarily all red, white, and blue. A lot of the blues and whites go backwards to Crystal Lane. And then look at these sheep. Aren't they cute? So Bunny Hill always does some really great whimsical things and super cute. She does a lot with hand stitching, some applique, as well as piecing. All right, what else do I have here? I have so much fabric. So here we have Summer Breeze, and Summer Breeze is a line that just keeps evolving. It's a classic collection by Sentimental Studios, and Sentimental Studios is the in-house design house for Moda. And this time we have the gorgeous flowers, but they also include beautiful paisleys. We have 30 different fabrics in this line, and we have them all. They work really well. I'm not sure if I froze up here or not. Hopefully you can see me still. And these are just super pretty. Okay. So you can see these beautiful fabrics here. So in this collection, it has been so popular. The pre-cuts did come before the main line, or I'm sorry, came before all the yardage came. And so currently we have just the mini charms here. However, I have reordered the charms, jellies, and layers. So on our website, you would see them as a contact us if you wanted to be notified when they are back in stock. So I anticipate these to be back in stock next week. So those of you that might have done our Sylvia's Bridal Sampler program and might be sitting on an unfinished quilt, because none of us ever have anything unfinished. I'm sure none of us. And so for a couple of years, we didn't have this style of fabric. And so I am just super happy that now we have some blue and yellow gorgeous traditional florals to be able to start new projects as well as finish some projects that might have been hanging around in our sewing rooms for a while. So we have the fat quarter tower, half yard tower of those particular fabric lines. Okay, what else do we have? We have Effie's Woods. So Effie's Woods, it also has a panel. This is from Deb Strain. And Deb is this is for her new granddaughter, Effie. And you are loved. And some sentiments of be wise, be kind, be yourself, be clever, be brave, be curious, you are cherished. We have so the whole panel looks like this. And the kit, which we have yet to get, okay, so the kit, which will be coming, is super, super cute. So this is a 45 by almost 60-inch quilt, and it is a very excellent price of $89.99 for the box kit price. Once again, we have a contact us up on our website. If you looked at the Moda social media today, you will have seen that they showed the pallets of boxes and kits ready to go. We have 24 coming to our store, so make sure to let us know if you would like one of those set aside for you. I'm certain they will go quick because they are just so spectacular and cute and such a great price. So if you get a box kit, you just need to add 3 yards of backing. All right, so let's look down and see the fabric. So we will be getting the layer cakes and jelly rolls and charm packs, but we don't have those yet. The full fat quarter tower, this is 22 pieces of fabric available in the half yard or the fat quarter. So really nice fabrics here, very now, very on trend. And it looks like such, I mean, just such a great storybook, don't you think? And I love the multicolored words here and this really cool design. Deb loves to use this gingham check. And as I said, you could build a story that would be a little bit more girly if you had wanted to have those peachy pinky colors. And this color here, I don't know why, but this is like my favorite textural piece here. All right. So you can see the gorgeous fabrics here that we have. So there are 22 fabrics in this line plus the panel. We did get the panel only in the cream color, and then we have all the pre-cuts coming, and hopefully they'll be coming next week. But we'll be getting them when everybody else gets them as well. All right, did I show you all the new fabric that I have to show you? Oh my goodness. I did, I think. So, what else do I have to show you today? Well, we want to talk just a little bit about what it is that we are doing, because I know I've jumped in and I have a lot of people that have been watching us along the way. So I am just so happy that you are joining us today. So every Thursday I said that we do a program, and we have a few different things. And in store we do have a little handout here. We also have information on our website underneath our club sections. The first Thursday of the month, we feature our Free Spirit Club. The second Thursday of the month, which this week, or this particular month, we had a no-show and of our programming, but we're going to be dedicating that to all of our blocks of the months that we do. Third week is our Moda University, and our fourth week is our Aurifil Color Builders selection. So today we're on our Moda University, which all of these are Patchworks exclusive content, and we like to share our new fabrics that are in our store, some project inspiration with you. We often include show and tell. Today we don't have show and tell that we're going to be sharing with you. We do have a Facebook group that we invite you to join, and that is our Patchworks Party. We do a lot of sharing back and forth, and then I like to do reminders of if we have something going on in the store, or reminders of our videos. All of our content here is available both on Facebook as well as on YouTube for these full-length programs. And then the content stays there forever. So you can watch me over and over, and you can put me on your TV, and we can sew together in your sewing room. For a project that we were talking about for Moda, a block of the month, I had been talking about a project called Block Bonanza. And Block Bonanza is a sampler, and I have a couple of these box kits. I'm seeing if I can get some more. We're going to be starting this in February. We're talking about this in February to kick off. And this is something that if you've been following us from Moda University for years and years, you know we often do an add-on block of the month. With our program structure like we have it right now, I thought it'd be best to have the block of the month part separate. And so this year we're going to be doing a 6-inch sampler. It is designed by Sarah J. And this fabric collection, or the fabric that it's shown in, is a little bit more traditional. I know we've been doing a lot of really contemporary things in our block of the month things over the past year and a half, and I just wanted to have a nod to do something traditional again, because it's just been a little bit since we've done that. And so the 6-inch block, you know, these are pieced blocks here, and while this is shown in traditional, this would be beautiful in any fabrics, okay? So if you love, love, love the brights, if you love really, so this could be anything that you would like. This is a standalone pattern that is available. It is $32, and we are getting more in store. Actually, none of them have been distributed yet. This finished size is 70 by 70, and we'll be talking about fabric selection next month. I know that we were talking about if you were looking for kits, I'd be more than happy to put something together for you. It was originally shown in the Joe Morton, which I was able to secure a couple, and if you were interested, I might be able to pick up a few more of these. I think the blue and yellow would be spectacular in this quilt. You also could do the blue and white, either including a tan, okay? You could have it be Americana. Lots and lots of options. With them being smaller, I would recommend using small prints. This is an excellent stash builder project, and we will be including information on this for our week 2. We also have available our Toes in the Sand, which we will be doing a nod to that in our Free Spirit Club that will supplement Julie Herman's presentations that she does. And for those of you who have prepaid and pre-signed up, we do have your materials available in store. We are getting additional fabrics to be able to make additional kits, okay? So if you didn't sign up, don't worry, you will have an opportunity to do so. There was a little bit of a hang up on one of the solids that we had for that. So we have not made a giant, huge deal about the program, but for those of you that are ready to go, we were able to put together kits for you for those. And we just got in our dewdrop fabric that we were waiting for. We got that today, so we'll be able to make more to be able to release to more of you that were looking to make Toes in the Sand, and that is in the Tula Pink fabric for Free Spirit. Whew, all sorts of really amazing information and things. Does anybody have any questions? As I'm looking over to the side here and see a bunch of stuff, I mean, I could just go on all night and we could be here till midnight, but we probably don't want to quite be here till midnight because I'm so honored that you're watching us and taking time out of your day to be here with us. We have just so much that is coming in that we're super excited for, and right now the manufacturers are showing a whole bunch of new fabrics to be delivered later in the year. I always invite you, if you see things on social media, so you're seeing things on social media pretty much the same time I see things. Quilt market hasn't been for a couple years, and so the buying cycle for me is really much different than it was a couple years ago. And so the designers are showing both you and me at exactly the same time. And so since you know it's really impossible to keep up on everything that's out there in the social media universe, I do invite you that if there's something amazing that you want to see, that you let me know. Okay? And, oh, Katie, I did not see your question. Oh, here we go. Let me see here. So Katie has a question for me, and let me see here. Were you asking if so you would like to know if this panel would work with this quilt? I believe that's the question. So let's take a peek overhead and see. Okay, so this is the inside block for the quilt that I shared is a 8.5-inch cut. So I am getting my big yardstick because that's just what I have available at this instant. Okay, so let's take a peek here. So I think, I mean, it was not designed for it. However, it definitely, you could get it sideways, crossways. So you will lose just a titch of this, but that would be super cute. So yes, I believe you could accomplish that. And let's just look here. So, and that is very creative, Katie. So kudos to you and thank you for thinking out of the box and sharing to be able to share with us. So you could get 6 motifs here. And if we take a peek here, so here we have, you can't see the whole quilt, but we have a 3x4, so that is 12. You could either do 2 of those panels, okay? 2 of those panels and one of the 12 packs of the 12 fat quarters and 2 panels. Or what you could do if you had wanted to, you could make a 4 to make a smaller piece. So keep in mind these are 16-inch blocks. So we have, and then we have a 2.5 inch in between. So that's 16, 16, 32 plus 6 is 38. So you could have a 38 and then add a bigger border to have like, you know, maybe a 42-inch quilt or something like that. So depending on how you want to do that. I also think it would be super cute to finagle something to come up with this. And I know that you're going to say, Julie, come up with something for me. I was merely suggesting that you could work it in. You could also piece it into a creative back or put it into the border. Okay? But really great question. Thank you so much, Katie, for asking that. Did anyone else have any questions? Tammy, yay, Julie, great quilting math, yay! And I can see you at home saying, but you said there'd be no math. All right, so I really appreciate you tuning in. Oh, and the question is as well, oh my goodness, I have lost all of my shop owner skills today. So if you love what you've seen and you would like to sign up and get one of the packs and get some of the stuff, what is Moda and how Moda Club and how do you sign up? So Moda Club, you sign up, it's a year commitment. We have on our website the availability for you to sign up for a monthly subscription to be charged once a month and either have your items pick up in the store or to ship out. Shipping out would be $6.99 a month for the Fat 1/8 pack bundle and $8.99 a month for the Fat Quarter bundle. A benefit of the Moda University is that you save 20% off of all Moda fabrics every single day, both online and in store. So that's pretty cool, and really, if you love Moda fabrics, it's a great, great, great value, especially as fabric prices keep bumping up. And yes, you still do accumulate loyalty points for reward cards in store. Every month we have different options available to you. And this year we did bump it up from 8 different fabrics to 12 fabrics. What we did, we've been doing this for many years and we thought we needed to change it up just a little bit. And the other thing that I wanted to do is make sure that you really had a valuable amount of fabric that you could do something with. So with the Fat Quarter pack, that really is a starter kit for your quilt. So that is really nice. And the monthly price is $24.99 for the Fat 1/8 pack or $44.99 for your Fat Quarter pack. You do save if you sign up for the year. You save 20% off of the monthly if you pay in full. And if you did pay in full and we are shipping to you, we would include the shipping for all 12 months on that. If you had wanted to add anything along with it, with your shipment, we would include that at no additional fee. Any questions on that? Okay, so we will keep our questions open and be able to monitor those to let you know what is going on. I invite you, whether you join in the club or not, to watch us every Thursday night for interesting content. And if you're not able to join us live, of course, make sure you can pick us up whenever it is convenient for you. I am so very thankful that you took time out of your evening to watch us. I hope you learned something and that we inspired you to create some great things. Happy quilting, and we'll see you soon.